as much information available about not only the budget but current negotiations and discussions, and to that extent I think those of us who remain in the chamber are at some disadvantage. It would be helpful to know exactly what Alex Salmond said to Patrick Harvey when he called Patrick Harvey from the chamber to further the negotiations, because that could actually help to influence what the rest of us conclude about the value of not only the debate but about the budget. Now, the Cabinet Secretary is absolutely right. Now is not the time to play party politics. I do think that in the current circumstances we need stability, we need a degree of certainty, and we need to encourage improved confidence not only in the business community but in all communities right across Scotland. And to that extent, it therefore would be helpful if the Cabinet Secretary was to remove two of the spectres which are haunting not only people in Scotland but haunting the Scottish economy. And the first is the unnecessary referendum which the Cabinet Secretary and the First Minister are threatening. Apart from wasting money on the process, it is introducing a degree of uncertainty, certainly amongst the business community. And the second is the local income tax, which has been denounced virtually from every quarter and which is causing huge uncertainty amongst businesses, big and small, right across the country. And if this budget is to have any resonance and any effect, then issues such as the local income tax should be removed completely from the table. And I think one of the unfortunate consequences no, thank you. I did attempt to clarify something with the Cabinet Secretary earlier and he refused to take an intervention. But one of the problems that we have in debates such as this is there had been high hopes for a new beginning in the Scottish Parliament, for a new way of doing things. And what we now have is actually the introduction of pork-barrel politics of the worst kind that actually has never been seen in this country before. And while I do not condemn the individuals who are looking to maximise the returns either for their specific interests or their specific areas, I do not think that in a parliament such as the composition of this one that the greater body politic is served by that process. There are a number of things which the budget should address. Now, the Cabinet Secretary talks about accelerating capital funding, and any acceleration of capital funding is undoubtedly to be welcomed. But if we were genuine, and if the Cabinet Secretary was genuine in making that effective, then he would surely abandon the proposals for the Scottish Futures Trust. I really do not care where the money comes from, as long as it comes quickly and effectively. And what we are seeing just now is a stranglehold being put on new investment, the length and breadth of Scotland, because of dogmatic politics on the part of the Cabinet Secretary and his colleagues. I do welcome the nod in the direction of our hard-pressed town centres, long overdue, and something which I have been arguing for and which I have raised. Well, if you just go back in the record, and even Derek Brownlee and the Tories would be able to read the joined-up writing, go back and look at the record, and they will see that I have argued that for a number of years. But one of the things that I think that we do need clarification on is the potential contradiction between what the Cabinet Secretary has said today and what his colleague Stuart Maxwell wrote on the 3rd of June 2008, which he said a new ring-fenced fund would inevitably only lead to greater bureaucracy and unnecessary micromanagement from the centre. So we need a guarantee that indeed the fund will be ring-fenced, will be there and will not be used for other purposes. And if Stuart Maxwell is wrong, then the Cabinet Secretary needs to spell that out. The freeze in the council tax, which the Cabinet Secretary referred to, may well put money in the pockets of individuals across the country, and I am sure most people would welcome any extra money that they are left with. But one of the problems that he and his colleagues do need to face up to is the inadequate funding which is going to local government and which is having a devastating effect on the quality of life, the length and breadth of Scotland. I have articulated and set out in this chamber before some of the consequences in my own area of Renfrewshire. 6 nursery schools to be closed, a primary school to be closed, every single school in Renfrewshire to have money removed from its budget, using probationary teachers to plug holes in the supply of teachers which should be there, or who should be there on permanent contracts. That is the reality. Warden services reduced, libraries closed, neighbourhood offices closed, cost of children's swimming lessons increased. Services right across the country are being hit, and particularly in Renfrewshire we are seeing the damaging consequences of the SNP's economic illiteracy.